So I actually found Dracula. I used to see him roaming the streets near my house when I lived in Orange, the city of Orange in Orange County. I thought it was just awful that this 5.5 pound Chihuahua was, out on the streets by himself, and he didn't have a collar. And one day I pulled into my driveway and there's this little beast staring at me like, no, you're not going to park. So I didn't, and I got out of my car and picked him up, and he was as friendly as could be. A little nervous, but pretty friendly. And I brought him inside, and my best friend said, he looks like a bat, you have to name him Dracula. And I toyed with it for a few days and thought of all these other names, and the more we spent time together, the more I was like, you're Count Dracula. So from then, it was smooth sailing. We got along really well. I would bring him to class. People loved him. I suddenly was the girl with the cute little Chihuahua that she brought everywhere. But slowly, his behavior started to change. He started snapping at people, and then eventually, at my home, he had to be locked in a room because he would just, lunge at people and go straight for the meaty part of their hand. Eventually, he and I moved in with my parents, as I've mentioned, and that's when things got really bad. He became territorial. He attacks their blind cat, Jim. It's one of the saddest things you'll ever see. This cat's just walking around meowing, helplessly. All he wants is to be held or fed or just, helped. He's so pathetically helpless. And Dracula, it's like nature happening in front of you. He just, stalks him and preys on him, and then you hear this, and that's the cat saying, help me, and Dracula screaming and trying to rip out his hair. The best part of this is when you try to help Dracula and get the cat fur out of his mouth, and he's growling at you because he's mad you, stopped him from murdering a cat. And he won't let you get the fur out, and then he chokes on it, and he's, coughing it up. And you're like, well, yeah, karma, that's what just happened, Dracula. That's one problem, the cat. But that if that were the only thing, that would be problem solved. You separate the two different rooms, crisis averted. But that's not it. Dracula owns my parents' house. I can barely put into words how violent he is towards guests. One time a woman came over and we locked him up, and he managed to escape and brutally attacked this woman's hand. She almost went to the hospital. And this is one of the strongest women I know, big, loving, nice woman. And this woman was crying because of this now 11-pound Chihuahua. 11 pounds, that's double 5.5 what he was when I found him, because he's spoiled by my parents because they know food is the way to his heart. I now have a dog that's part Chihuahua, part tater tot, as you can see here. He's a little pudgy guy. We've tried several things to resolve the issue. In the beginning, when it first happened, we were like, oh, precious little Dracula, has a few little behavior issues. We had no idea what was coming. We were blind. So we took him to Monica Deirdrich, dog psychic. We had taken our other dog, and it was really telling. It was eerie. She told us things about our home that she would never otherwise know. Describe the green beanbag the dog loved, and describe my brother in close detail. So we're like, okay, we'll take Dracula. She'll say, he X, Y, and Z, problem solved. There's a solution. That's not what happened. We took him, and, she did her little mind reading thing, and she goes, Dracula's just an asshole. Yeah, she said that about you, huh? Pardon my language, but she really said that, and it caught me off guard, and I was like, I'm sorry. Did I just pay you to tell me my dog is a jerk? And I did. That's